I said, you have to give up. You have to surrender. And he was close. But in the end, I really didn't. We had to do something that was really much more surgical, much more powerful. This was a very important symbol. And I had discussions. I actually spoke to him myself. But I said, you have to give up. You have to surrender.
When did you speak to him?
He was not willing. A week ago.
Right now, Venezuela under temporary U.S. control, as President Trump revealed here on Fox and Friends Weekend that he spoke to dictator Nicolas Maduro just a week ago and gave him many chances to leave before yesterday's daring capture and arrest. Fox News senior correspondent Benjamin Hall joins us now. So you're one of the few people that I know who have been in situations similar to this. What is going on on the ground right now as they try to work through this transition?
Well, I think it's fascinating. We've been hearing a lot of people say regime change. What does it look like? The fear from Iraq. What happens when you pull down a really strong regime that is backed up by the military, the intelligence units, the security units, and in this case, gangs and cartels as well. And I think that's where people have to start, is that you can't just go in and get rid of everyone at once. You have to start from the top down. Now, they've done so through Nicolas Maduro by taking him out. And I think what happens next is that they have to take out, presumably, some of the next few leaders, because some of these people have blood on their hands. And the people of Venezuela will be rising up and trying to get sort of justification for what's happened. So, look, we're looking at a few people at the moment. You've got the Interior Minister, you've got the Defense Minister, and you've got the Vice President, all very close to Maduro. And what we just heard President Trump say just earlier, a week ago, he said to Maduro that he wanted them to surrender. That will be sending a message to those three. If you don't now surrender or play ball, we will come and get you. But this has to be a slow process. You remember in Iraq, the Baathists were said none of them could be part of the future government, and it emptied the country. It made it impossible to run. And so this has to be a slow process. You have to get rid of the few leaders, and then you have to start perhaps giving amnesty to people lower down in the security forces and the military, or else you will end up with a civil war.
Do you see a future where the Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, remains?
I think she will remain for the moment. I think that she is hand in hand with Maduro and everything he set up. I think that the people want to see a move towards a democratically elected country, and she was not put in that position, so she will be there for the moment. But I don't think that that's long-lasting.
A lot of comparisons get made between what is going on here and what happened in Iraq in 2003. What are the differences between Venezuela of today and Iraq of 2003?
Well, certainly big differences in how it's being handled. I think that the lesson was learned that you cannot just go in and remove a regime straight away. I think that there's a big difference in that this has a lot more influence to a certain degree on the U.S. Venezuela is on the border right now, close to the U.S. anyway, and so it has real implications. And also you have these other characters and countries playing a role, China, Russia. That is something that we have to look at as well. Iraq didn't have that to a certain degree. Not even Iran was operating in Iraq in the same degree. So you have many other countries who are involved in Venezuela at the moment, and you've got to be careful for that. You can imagine that Russia, that China, that Iran, that Hezbollah, who have some forces in there, they will be pushing back against this move to democracy, and so you have to push them out as well.
Yesterday, you said that you slipped over to Times Square to watch some of the protests.
Yeah.
What did you see? What was your reaction?
I'm absolutely amazed and saddened to see some of those protests. I think we've seen it time and time again, where something positive happens around the world, or a dictator is brought to his knees, where the people in Venezuela are celebrating, Venezuelans around the world are celebrating for their freedom. And yet here in this country, people on the left are the ones rising up and trying to defend the dictator. And I just think that something is split in that sense. And you saw the same thing when the nuclear facilities were hit in Iran. You saw people celebrating that the region was safer, that the Iranian nuclear facilities were gone. But here on the left, you had people trying to somehow defend the Iranians because the US got involved. And so I just think it's very strange. Right here in Times Square, we saw people standing up and seeming to defend the dictator rather than saying, this is a good day for the country and it's a good day for the world.
The financial capital of the freedom capital of the world, where so many people seem to be confused. It's kind of remarkable. Benjamin Hall, thank you so much. Great to see you, as always.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.